Hey guys, welcome to this video. This is an introduction to managerial accounting. Now, don't worry, this video is made especially for beginners, even if you've never studied accounting or commerce before. This video is made in such a way that you will be able to understand important concepts. Now, we are going to keep it super simple. No jargon, no technical terms, no complicated terms, just plain English and very simple things that you can relate to. Now, in order to first understand accounting, we need to understand one thing first before that. What is business? Now, let's say you have a friend, let's call her Asha. She's a great cook. She often makes delicious food. She shares it with you, she shares it with all of your friends. Now, one day, everyone tells her, Asha, your chicken rolls are so amazing. Why don't you start selling them? So she decides to open a small stall and starts selling chicken rolls, right? The moment she starts selling regularly, it no longer just is a hobby, right? It becomes a business. So, what is something that makes an activity a business? Some key features of a business are one, it has to be about money, right? It has to be about economic activity. It involves production or exchange. It is regular, it is not a one time activity. It has risk, and the goal of a business is always profit. So, simply put, business is nothing but solving people's wants regularly by taking risks in exchange for profit. Right? Now, your textbook definition, I can show you the textbook definition so that you can easily understand. Now that we've seen the definition, let's look at the types of businesses. Now, business can be of many types. One of the ways you can classify a business is looking at what sort of ownership a business has. And for example, let's come back to Asha's example again. Let's say Asha wants to start a small stall. It costs only 30,000 rupees. She has that money, she can start right away. And that type of setup is called a sole proprietorship. One person owns that business, the same person controls, and that person takes all the profits. They also take all the risks because if there is any loss, they have to pay that loss. Right? The second type of form of ownership is called a partnership. Let's say Asha does not want to start a small stall. She wants to start a restaurant, or maybe she wants to put a kiosk in a mall, and the entire thing will cost her 10 to 15 lakhs. She does not have that much money. So she goes to a friend. She says, you know what, I will put 5 lakhs, you will put 5 lakhs. Let's both run this business together. Now that is a partnership. Two or more people share ownership, they also share profits, they also share the risk, and also maybe sometimes responsibility. Right? Let's say Asha wants to dream even bigger. She does not want to start one restaurant. She wants to start a chain of restaurants across the city, or maybe, in 2, 3 cities. She needs somewhere around 10 crores. She does not have the money. She only has 5 lakhs. Her friend maybe can arrange another 10, 15 lakhs. So she cannot just get this from a few partners. And partnership has a limit also. You can only have 50 partners in a partnership firm. So then she can form a private limited company, right? Now here's how the private limited company happens, right? This each person who is buying into the private limited company, all right? This business is divided into shares. Each share is like, let's say, a part of ownership of the company. So for example, let's say there are 100 people who are buying shares. It means there are 100 owners of the company. There are 100 people who are eligible to get a part of the profits of that company. They have put money to start that company, right? These are all shareholders because they have shares. Okay, and this whole company is now, they are the owners of this whole company. A private limited company can have up to 200 shareholders. All right. One major difference between sole proprietorship and partnership versus a company is that there is no personal risk. For example, in a sole proprietorship, let's say you take some credit to buy stock, buy raw materials, buy goods, or buy a stove, buy an oven, something, right? You take that money. Let's say the business is in losses. You have to repay that money. Even though the business does not have money, in a sole proprietorship or in a partnership, you as a person are responsible to pay it back. So even if the business is making not making money, you have to sell your own stuff, like your house, your car. You have to sell that, and you have to give that money back to the people you owe. In a company, that is not the case. In a company, the company is treated as a separate entity. What that means is, tomorrow, if there is a loss, nobody can sue you from uh, for getting that money back, right? Even though you have enough money, because the company is taking that credit, the company is borrowing that money, the company is liable to pay it back. Okay, so that is what a private limited company is, and a public limited company is exactly like a private limited company, but let's say 100 crores are not enough. Maybe she wants like hundreds of crores, uh, thousands of crores. In that case, it becomes a public limited company. Public limited company is nothing but it's the same as a private limited company, but this time the shares are listed on a stock exchange. Okay, there is no there is no limit to how many people can own shares in this company, and thousands of people can become part owners. Like for example, you look at Reliance, you look at Infosys, you look at Tata. All of these are public limited companies, right? If it is trading on a stock exchange, that means a public limited company. A lot of times people get confused between a public limited company and a government company. Those are two completely different things. A public limited company meaning anybody in the public, in general public, has access to those stocks. That's as simple as that, because they are on the stock exchange. I hope everything is clear so far. I hope we can move on to the next topic.